6 journalism graduate students sent by ABC News 2020 to find out firsthand
At one point I did cocaine.
what some in the military did not want known about soldiers and drugs.
Lots of soldiers coming back from Iraq have been using drugs.
A summer spent piercing military resistance
Started out with that.
in order to finally tell an important story.
It's breaking my heart to see what he's going through. He tried to shoot himself. And he's not the only one.
This is the end. As depicted in the music and movies of the time, including Apocalypse Now, soldiers using drugs was one of the ugly legacies of the Vietnam War.
Drop acid.
But the U.S. military says there is now no comparison with what's happening in Iraq. The military's official position is that it has successfully prevented any increased drug abuse problems.
In general, our soldiers are not turning to drugs.
Colonel Elspeth Ritchie, the Army's chief psychiatrist.
As an Army, we do not tolerate illegal drug use.
But we wanted to find out from the soldiers themselves what was happening. And they soon discovered a startling figure in sharp contrast to what the military told us, that the percentage of veterans found abusing drugs has now jumped as much as 10 times since the start of the war. Matthew McCain, a medic in the Baghdad ER, busted for cocaine use.
I never had any drug problems or any drug issues up until I went to Iraq.
McCain says to escape the horrors of what he saw daily in the ER, he and another medic began to steal prescription drugs from an Army pharmacy in Iraq, leading to his friend's death from an overdose.
I guess the stress just overpowers your decision-making.
After McCain was sent home to Fort Carson, but still in the Army, his drug use only increased.
It's just so easy to get drugs.
Where do guys get them?
I mean, there's drug dealers like right out posts that work on posts, civilians. They're everywhere, man.
Specialist Alan Hartman, a helicopter gunner, got a medical discharge after he was caught using methamphetamines or speed to get high.
No, I brought my buddy back dead on the aircraft, and ever since then I can't look people in the eye. It's just, when you unzip a body bag, it's like, oh my God.
He was part of Hartman's job to help transport the bodies of Americans killed in action in Iraq.
Just opening the bags and seeing 19, 20-year-old kids just torn apart. You just become numb.
So this was kind of my pride and joy.
Hartman came home from Iraq with a handful of medals and a head full of demons, at times afraid to go to sleep.
The nightmares were killing me from being over there. The pain was so bad I didn't want to deal with it. Well, amphetamines is a real quick way to get rid of it. I was snorting it, and I was smoking it, and then I was hot railing it, and then I got to the point where I was actually injecting it in my arms.
Even a Marine Corps major opened up to the students, Major Jamal Awad. He was officially diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder after rescuing survivors in the 9/11 attack on the Pentagon, but he was deployed to Iraq anyway, where his condition only worsened.
Of course, you're not supposed to have any problems as a Marine officer, let alone a major. They started me out on these...
Major Awad says Marine doctors put him on an array of antidepressants so he could stay in the field and fight.
I told them that I was having suicidal thoughts, that I would go out on convoys with the purpose to die. It was health. I finally did go to the doctor while I was there, but it was the same deal, 10 pills.
The major told our students he fell into a spiral of pills, misbehavior, and attempted suicide. Ashamed to tell his children what had become of their Marine major father, who was discharged and denied retirement benefits. Again and again, the students heard much the same story. Young Americans who say they joined the military drug-free, but began to use and abuse drugs as a direct result of the pain and the trauma of war. Something that seemed to come as news to the Army's chief psychiatrist, who oversees the Army's mental health programs. Do you find soldiers are trying to escape from horrible combat experiences? Did anyone tell you that's the reason they've turned to drugs?
That has not been my experience.
Because we've talked to lots of soldiers who have told us precisely that.
Soldiers and other people will often give all sorts of reasons for drug and alcohol use.
But do you buy that when they say it was because of what I saw in Iraq, what I went through in Iraq, that's why I'm using drugs now?
Well, as I've said, that has not been my experience, that soldiers have told me that.
She clearly doesn't know what she's talking about. She clearly must not be meeting with Iraq War veteran patients. Shame on her.
That's the end of our coverage from 2020, and I just wanted to make note of the fact that we've had several doctors and scientists on talking about the need to give these soldiers a cure from this post-traumatic stress disorder, and one of the optimum ways that's being brought forward is the use of MDMA, ecstasy.